If you ask me what is the most complimented on EDC gear by women out in the wild, 100%, it's this. 100%.
Bro.
Is it fair to say the James brand is like the Apple of EDC gear?
It's one of those cases where if this is something that you like, there is a price to pay.
The way you say that sounds so ominous. Half of the people here seem to be carrying a gun, extra ammo, 2 knives, a multi-tool phone, flashlight, and a pen. Be honest, are you actually carrying this stuff? The reductive simple answer is no. No, we aren't. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Carry the Way, the weekly podcast where we nerd out about all things EDC gear and maybe try to teach you a thing or two while we're at it. I'm Bernard, the founder of everydaycarry.com, and I'm joined by our editor, Mikey.
Hello, what's up?
Yo, so if you're listening to this on the podcast service, just wanted to remind you that we have a new YouTube channel, and I highly recommend watching us there. So that's youtube.com/@carrythewaypodcast. And if you can see me right now, you made it. Congrats. Thanks for following along, and please just hit that subscribe, like the video, and then click the little gear icon and set us at 1.25x, and we'll get to yapping. So we'll start with the pocket check. Mikey, why don't you go ahead?
Cool. Yeah, we featured a Dragonfly 2 in one of the submissions last week, so I decided to dust off mine from the drawer. So this is one of the at the time it was pretty expensive. So this is the Dragonfly 2 in British Racing Green, and this was known for
color.
Yeah, it's known for its ZDP 189. I can't get it in focus, but it says it here. ZDP 189 steel. And what makes this exceptional is it was hardened to over 63. So what does that mean? Most modern knives right now are hardened to 57 to 59. That's the standard range, which makes it easier to sharpen, which means that if you dulled this guy, it was known for its edge retention. But if you dulled it, nobody wanted to touch it unless they had like a diamond sharpening system, which I had to wait for a few years for that to catch up so I could get the sharpen. But yeah, decided to carry this again just for lighter weight because it's summer. And to pair with that, I am also carrying the Prometheus Beta Q3 flashlight on a hand gray carabiner. And to honor the Bear coming back season 3, yeah, every second counts. So yeah, that's my That's my lightweight summer setup at the moment. Dragonfly and Prometheus Beta. What are you carrying?
I have the same keychain as you, actually.
Has it been worth it to carry a hand gray carabiner?
Dude, I think so. I really like the hand gray. I think it just looks cool. There's actually an article recently in, I don't know, some like mainstream, not mainstream media. That's like not what that means here in America. Just like, New York Times or something. But it said that like keychains for men, like visible keychains on your belt loop is like a new fashion trend. I was like, dude, I've been doing that like forever. And I used to get made fun of. And now it's like, oh, he looks like aloof and like self-reliant. Like, what the hell? Anyway,
15 years later, you're on.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing with like fanny packs now. Like every dude's like rocking the Lululemon or just like some kind of sling. But yeah, I just wanted to show Mikey also got me an every seconds counts keychain. So I appreciate that. Let's see what's literally in my pocket. I think it also matches, but it's the same kind of thing that I showed maybe not too long ago, not too many episodes ago. Vosteed Shark in the titanium handle still.
True.
But what have I had recently? I was testing the Wuben T4 like so much, not like strictly testing it in the tactical sense. Like I'm definitely not doing that. Let's make
windows
that clear.
open.
Yeah, no, just like no, not
just
doing
going
that.
To the parking lot and just like.
Yeah, I just I wanted to make a little video about this because it's really interesting. Like there are not too many like small tactical lights anymore, and I just like when flashlights also have like ways to kit it out and like rig it out. So this has like the ring on it that's also multifunctional. So haven't been like really hardcore testing it, but I just did have it in my pocket. It's interesting that you mentioned we're in summer now. I get, well, where you are, it's always hot. Like it doesn't matter. But for me, it is hot. Like I have to wear the tank tops and like it's just hot. So not only that, but the sun is just up for so long. I had to wait till like 10 to record footage of this just because it wasn't dark yet. So I thought that was interesting.
That's crazy. sunset here is always 6 p.m. It's like it
Yeah,
starts to
no.
get dark at 6 p.m. 10 o'clock, you still have sun. That's crazy.
Yeah. So I guess while we're at it, I did want to maybe talk about Summer EDC just because it is a little bit topical now.
Sure.
Do you have any tips for people who are realizing now, like, damn, I need to switch my EDC up?
Yeah, lightweight and stuff that isn't sticking onto your body, which means
Yeah.
I had to switch to a lighter sling just so it's not like a heavy weight right on my chest where I am
Mhm.
sweating. And then when you lift it up, you have like a huge sweat patch on your chest. So that's been the big change for me. I actually recorded some footage about a lightweight carry I put together. We'll
Oh,
probably
okay,
have that
nice.
somewhere in our channel soon. But yeah, the key factor there was a very, very light sling, just so it's like I have some airflow and it's not taking up a huge surface
Yeah.
area on my chest because I am a chest sweater. So that's my one big tip.
I was gonna say lightweight stuff, maybe water resistant stuff, high colored
Mm,
gear or like high vis gear, whatever. If you're gonna be out, out in nature enjoying it or doing water sports or something like that. And then
yeah,
to your point of things that aren't on your body, like so, you can wear a jacket and a backpack in the wintertime, and that affords you so much storage space, right?
sure.
And to your point, you were saying like use a sling or something.
Mm,
I was kind of sheepish about revealing this part of my EDC that I
mm.
am experimenting with because I don't think the majority of people will be on board with this. But I might as well be vulnerable on the channel. Like,
I won't
who's
judge
gonna
you.
stop me? Okay,
I
thank
won't
you.
judge you. I can't
But
speak for everybody else.
yes, but I have been carrying this.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So
Look
this
at
is like the
that
smallest tote bag. Like if you call it a purse, I'm not even gonna be like defensive about it. But this is actually like a
guy.
well-designed tote bag that I got from a Korean donut shop. So there's like this
Nice.
little hamster that's like chubby and like grubbing on this donut.
Why you gotta have my
But
photo on there?
I know, right? But like I was surprised because it's $24 and I had been talking about I needed some kind of like solution for carrying
The dump
my
pocket style.
cameras. Yes, with a top entry, right? That's just small enough just for EDC gear. So I have both of my point and shoot cameras in here.
Oh, that's
And
perfect.
then there's like a top access stash pocket, magnetic closure. It actually has a keychain leash sewn in, which is where I had my
The hand
keychain that I
grenade.
just showed. Yeah, and then I have my EDC pouch sitting at the bottom of it, so it does stand upright even when it's empty. By the way, which I think is sick.
That is
So
sick.
I'm actually legit excited about this, and I have been using it, and it's like very interesting because I was using like a tote bag that I would have on my shoulder, but this is like completely off body.
Yeah.
It's obviously not for everyone, just stylistically and functionally, but I think it is worth just exploring things that maybe will work for you and your very specific use case, but maybe not fully accepted by everyone else. And like that's okay.
Hey, wait a
So
minute. Speaking of trends, wasn't there like a that size Trader Joe's super popular mini tote as well that kind of like went viral as well? Have
I
you heard
think
of it?
so. I
That's what
don't. Yeah, no, I didn't hear.
that's immediately the first thing that came to mind. I know there is a viral, really small, about that size
Uh-huh.
Trader Joe's store that they've had to restock like 3 times already because it went super popular. So
Mm.
you're probably not alone. People are
I
buying
will.
this.
Yeah,
They're
I
seeing
will
the
say
value
though,
in it.
like if you ask me what is the most complimented on EDC gear by women out in the wild, 100%, it's this. 100%. I get them like
Pro tip.
2 to 3 times a day. Some woman will walk up to me and like ask what this is or like where did I get this or that's so cute. And that just helps the ego. So that's the whole point of EDC, right? Um, okay, last thing. I did mention on the last episode that I ordered a pen to use as like a bookmark or something. I
Ooh.
thought it was really interesting. This is it doesn't really work that well as a bookmark, but this is the
Oh, I thought the other thing
CWMT.
was the bookmark.
No,
Was the
this literally is a bookmark.
okay?
But I'm attaching it to my bookmark because it doesn't work as well. Because basically, what it
Oh,
is,
I
it's a
see.
grade
Gotcha.
5 titanium, like refill holder, basically, and then it just has this little
Ah.
wire thing that like kind of protects the writing tip, and it uses a Pilot High Tech C 0.4 millimeter refill, and I have like this cool like emerald green ink that sort of matches the background, and
Ooh.
it's cool like in terms of industrial design, right? But it's expensive, and it's not the most comfortable as a pen because it is flat, and it's not the best as a bookmark because you're using this like pocket clip as
Oh yeah, it
to
just
hold
bumps
it
up.
in, and yeah, so it kind of like eats up the pages if the tension isn't perfect. But it is just a beautiful object, and I think
Mm.
after our last episode, like it's okay to have beautiful objects that also serve purpose. But I will admit, it's not like I don't recommend this for everyone. But if you're in like a design nerd, I think CW&T out of Brooklyn is really cool.
I seem to remember I when I was younger, I had one of those in school where it was similar. It had like a folding element to it, and it was
Mhm,
also flat, but it was generic made of plastic kind of thing. But
mhm.
that folding wire thing
Yeah,
reminded me
yeah.
exactly
It's
of
really
that
bare
kind of
bones. You can
pen.
actually remove it. You could just like pull it out, but this is like the closed position, and then
Oh yeah, so
it
the
just
tip doesn't. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
gotcha. Oh yeah,
Um,
that's really cool. Yeah,
but yeah, that's I shared more than I expected to there, so I
yeah.
hope everyone appreciates that. Uh,
I appreciated it. Don't
yeah,
worry
I
about it.
feel like I wonder how many people just like turned off the video when they see that little tote bag. But okay, so I did mention that this is like not the most comfortable pen or like good for EDC, but I also got this, and we can like jump into our news and our new releases for this week. But this is the new Ridge Click Pen. So full disclosure, Ridge is our parent company, so like yeah, they keep the lights on. But they just launched this new Click Pen, and it's maybe we could pull up. Let's pull up the product page here.
I am really excited about this because we've talked about it before. Click pens are my favorite kind of pen. I haven't really been on board the bolt action train. I don't
Yeah,
really like twisties as well. Click pens have been my favorite, so I'm really excited about this one.
yeah, I think it makes sense too, just because when people think of pens, most likely they're either thinking of like you pop the top off and that's annoying, and you just like those are
You
the
lose it.
disposable ones you get, yeah, at like the doctor's office or something.
Mhm.
But then otherwise, like in school or at work, you're probably, if you're investing in a slightly better quality pen, you're probably using a click mechanism. And I
Mhm.
think like EDCers think bolt action is cool, right? Because it comes like from guns, and it's like super secure and super sturdy. But for the like everyone else, that might be like too much or just not really worth it or not familiar to use. So I'm all for making EDC more accessible and legible and understandable to more people. So I think something like a click pen is a good offering in addition to their bolt action pen. So they do have a bolt action pen here.
I haven't
Um,
seen this, but is that a hex screw for the clip?
yeah, so the hardware for the clip is the same as the wallet and key case. I'm pretty sure. I'm
Oh,
not sure if it's
sick.
like the exact like you can swap out the screws itself, but it's still hex, and it's still like it has the same design motif to it.
Yeah, and
But
that's
yeah,
nice
this
from an EDC perspective as well because we love our standardized hex screws.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is
And their T5
aluminum.
Torx.
Yeah, 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 yeah. This has a. I'll just let you hear the knock mechanism.
Sure.
So it's not the same as like, do I even have? I don't even think I own a regular click pen anymore. Uh, wow, I literally don't. But this is like a click pen, right? Clicky. It's like plastic and rattly. And then
Mhm.
here's a really old tactile turn. I think this is either stainless steel or titanium, but this is like a similar knock mechanism. And then this
Yeah,
is
they don't make that anymore too.
yeah, they don't make that anymore. So this, from what I remember, this click mechanism has like a custom titanium internal component, and then it's on
Mm,
ceramic silicon nitride bearings, I think, something like that. Yeah, so yeah, silicon nitride. Um,
nice.
so pretty smooth and quiet, and it's I believe not as expensive as the bolt action pen. Yeah, slightly less expensive.
And uses a
So
standard Schmidt P900.
yeah, so just like solid, machined pen from Ridge. We're expanding our categories, so
And let's not
that's
let's not
Uh-huh.
also downplay the fact that we had that question where machine pens are like starting at $100
Oh,
now.
true. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so 55 is well below. I mean, it's not the F701 territory, but it's well
Yeah,
below the
yeah.
standard EDC. And if you need an orange pen or if you want a titanium pen,
Yeah,
slightly
titanium
below
it
100
gets
bucks.
closer. Yeah, titanium gets
Yeah,
closer to that price point that the
yeah,
on the last episode we were talking about. But
hmm
in aluminum, like in some pretty cool colors, you
yeah.
get that. Yeah. So this came out pretty recently. So what else we got for news? We actually have more than this, by the way. But just in the interest of time, because I went yapping about this little purse I had. Let's jump into the James brand, the Barnes. So this is
Okay.
a limited edition, right?
Yeah,
Of course, it's already sold out at
true.
$1,400. But what are we looking at here?
Yeah, I wanted to point out this is one of the newer models from James brand, and it's also a made in the USA one. And this is the
Mm,
superlative version of that. You know how sometimes knife makers always make a one off version that has like the special carbon fiber scales, or in this
mm,
case, like the Damasteel or Damascus. So
yeah,
Damasteel is, I believe, Damasteel is a proprietary thing. It's a brand,
it's like a brand.
Damasteel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Damasteel. Yeah,
So you get much more consistent, elaborate patterns that are kind of designed. It still has that random pattern to it, but
yeah.
you
You
can
can
see here
pick
it,
different
it
patterns
has a
from
much
Damasteel.
more consistent patterning to it. But I imagine that that's a whole chunk of that price, $1,350. So this,
Yeah.
yeah, automatically begs the question: would you pay 1,300, $1,349 for a knife? That's not like a full dress one-off custom.
No, that's stupid because I would rather spend $1,500 on a watch when I have 10 watches already. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like whatever, makes you happy, I think. Um, like clearly people did spend the $1,500 or 1,350 or whatever on this.
Are
But
the other models still in stock?
yeah, yeah, I think so. But remember, they're like what, half the price? Yeah, see?
But they're still
They're still
$650. Oh
$650.
my goodness.
That's true. Is there
Yeah,
anything in
so
between? Okay, like they guess a little bit more expensive, but
yeah, so this is, I mean, James Brand has already kind of been known for being kind of like a boutique brand
mhm.
and venturing into the luxury side of things, which kind of just means it's a bit more expensive.
Yeah.
You're
Is
paying,
it fair to say the James brand is like the Apple of EDC gear?
ooh, that's a tough one. That is a tough one. I would kind of, I can't even make a comparison to like, are they the Ferrari of pocket knives? Because I wouldn't make that as I don't think
Yeah,
that's a fair
I don't get
comparison
that vibe
either.
either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just on the upper edge of the spectrum. They're not technically. I don't know. It's one of those cases where if this is something that you like, if this resonates with you, there is a price to pay. If that's worth to you, then
The way you say that sounds so ominous. Like, how
there
dare
is a
you enjoy
price.
that? Yeah,
There is a
yeah, you will pay. You
you
will
will.
pay if this is
The
your
price
taste.
will be extracted.
Yeah. There's no other option.
Yeah.
But maybe for people like where this doesn't resonate with them, off, they get the sticker shock, they don't get it.
Mhm,
And we don't even like James Brand, like we don't even have like a relationship to them necessarily, right? So how
mhm.
can we try to like James Brand pill someone just for the sake of the argument, right? If we wanted to and
Yeah.
say like this is worth the 1350. What I would say first is that you know, you can't tell from this side, from like the show side, or even this side actually. Let me
Yeah.
try to find.
How I like to sell James Brand to people is take a look at all of their other stuff. They have a very distinct design language. It's a bit consistent and it's very unique. Not like, so it reminds me of how like Vero Engineering has their own design
Mhm.
language. We Knives have their own kind of design language. If it's a style, if it's kind of like a series of products that make sense to you, I think it could be worth it to you.
Yeah,
And this is just like the extreme end of that whole catalog.
right. So I did find the example of what I'm talking about. This is an integral titanium frame lock.
Right, right.
Right? And here it even has like the carbon fiber onlay. But
Yeah.
basically, it's like they take a single piece of. it has to be grade 5 titanium. Yes.
Sure.
So you can
Yeah,
tell
yeah, that's great.
6AL4V, this is an alloy. Grade 2 titanium, which is cheaper, is like pure. So, this is grade 5. And grade 5 is just like more performant. Um, pure titanium doesn't necessarily mean better. But that is like a difficult material to work with. So to be able to take like a solid piece of titanium and then build a knife around it, that's like, one integral piece. That is like the appeal of some of this. I've seen like knife collectors commenting like, oh, I'm excited to get my first integral. And it's like the Barnes from the James brand.
Mm.
So I think you
And
have
yeah,
to be,
not
yeah.
many companies are making integrals anymore, so that is
Mm-hmm.
that is kind of like a superlative thing. I still want the Benchmade Anthem, which is like one of the all-time greatest integrals of all time of all time.
Yeah.
And
And
110 people have bought this, 5-star reviews. So there is
well,
something
I
to
think
be.
I think that's that. Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
probably across all these different
Yeah, but I mean, but just even if the
variations.
base model people are happy with, if you're
Yeah,
willing to pay for that extra, like, sauce for it,
yeah.
you know?
So I don't know. I think I just wanted to share this as not necessarily an example of like you need to buy this, and if you don't, like you have bad taste and like whatever.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Yeah, this is definitely just like, hey, this is what some people like, and maybe we'll try to explain why that might be, even though we know it's not for everyone. We're not saying
Okay,
it is.
I have two better examples: the Supreme Multi Tools and the Garage series from Leatherman. So
What
the
are you
Supreme
talking
Multi,
about, bro? Like
okay,
how is that
so
relevant at all?
the Supreme Multi Tools add absolutely nothing to the original tool except the Supreme branding, but it jacks up the price to double of the original product,
Wait,
even
the
more.
retail price or the
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 retail price,
secondary?
the
Oh,
retail
okay. Well,
price.
that's just like Supreme doing Supreme things.
I know, but
Okay,
that's also along the lines of if that resonates with you, then it's worth something to you. So
then you will pay
then
because
you
we don't
will
tolerate
pay.
high pace.
That's the
Okay.
name of this episode. You
Yeah,
will
you
pay.
you will pay. Okay,
You will pay.
that's
And
funny.
also, like, I was wanted to bring up Leatherman because they also have their same tools in the Garage series, which is like a limited run as well.
Yeah,
Like the Leatherman Arc was born from a
right.
Garage series version of
Like experiment. Yeah.
the free series. Yeah. So it's okay. So I think a better example here is concept cars. They're not for everyone. They're kind of like proof of concepts, just to show that yes, we can make a superlative integral with Damasteel, with all the
Hmm.
bells and whistles, like all the full dress, everything. It's not gonna, not not everybody's gonna afford it. It's not gonna be like in the price bracket or in the realm of value for a lot of people. But we
Hmm.
wanted to show that we could do it, and this is what it looks like, and it may be worth something to some people. So I
Yeah.
think that's yeah.
I think then on the other end of the spectrum, what if you made the highest value thing as a concept? And that's what we have here with the CJRB Pyrite Light. Um, so I think, Mikey, you ordered one for me. I
Yes.
ordered one for myself this morning, actually, so it's still
Yeah.
on the way.
So
But
you basically have all the pyrites at this point.
I do. I'm like Thanos collecting all the pyrites, and when I snap my fingers, half of my bank account is gone.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's not really that bad, especially the Pyrite Light. It's like even cheaper, right? As far as their
Yeah.
offerings. I liked the original Pyrite with the dual thumb studs, drop point blade, and steel handles. I thought that was a really good budget knife to begin with. And then there was the Pyrite Alt. Then I got the Enthusiast, the Bowie, the like dressed up Bowie. Like I have a bunch of them, but I'm really excited about another budget offering that uses the same platform with this sort of recipe that I really like. And
How much does it weigh?
let's see, 80 grams, 2.8 ounces.
2.82 ounces. That is
Yeah,
really
because
light.
it's FRN handle.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
really light.
and then the
Plus
yeah.
since you have the plunge lock, the button lock, it's also, does that mean it's fewer liners? There's an overhead shot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have the heavier steel liners to weigh it down as well.
Yeah. I'm curious to see just like how it feels or flexes in hand because
Mm.
you know how like these kinds of scales can be.
I think
But
that's the strategically placed standoff there in the middle that'll help with the bending as well. it's not just the backs. It's not just the back standoff. So there's
Oh
two
yeah,
of them
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
So I have a feeling that's going to help with a flex, if any, with a give.
Right.
But
Um,
yeah, they even consider the like reversible clip. You have a lanyard hole and button lock
yeah.
that's reusable by left and right hand. It's generally pretty,
Oh, you
yeah,
can save on
over a
Amazon.
1,000 times cheaper than the James Brand one.
Wait, hold on, hold
So
on. Yeah. Uh, definitely. How much is this on Amazon? Oh, okay,
it's on
$30
sale.
on Amazon. Yeah.
Oh,
So
there.
wait, that's
This is your
actually way
sign.
cheaper. $30. No, I did buy it on Amazon earlier, but
Yeah.
okay,
But
so
to people
imagine this is
watching,
yeah,
this is
imagine
your
this is
sign.
$30. Also, why are we on the why were we in the artisan cutlery site? I think this is better. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is like their brand new thing. So I'm excited to get one of these. I handled the what's it called, the Pyrite Bowie S90V titanium handle, and
Mhm.
it basically looks almost exactly like this, except the materials are different. And I was telling you this where I felt like the Pyrite is like not the platform or the design to like dress up that way, like with like those kinds of materials
Mm.
for some reason. I don't know, it like I feel like it will shine better more in this utilitarian budget kind of realm.
But what
So
you said something earlier that did resonate with me. You have one platform that you can dress up or dress down and do variations of, like the mini or the alts and the stuff. And
yeah.
it's like you can be a collector of the one model and then still have a lot of variety. I think that's a
Hmm.
really cool concept. You know how like people collect the Spyderco Power 3 and it has like a bajillion colors and
Hmm.
it's Thanos collecting all of them also.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
people who like watch collectors, they'll get like one G-Shock square and then suddenly they have
I
like
have
12
12.
G-Shock squares. Yeah. Or like
Yeah.
the Casios on clearance at Walmart, they just like snatch them all up.
Yeah, true,
um,
true.
Yeah, so this one's exciting. I am going to get it soon, and then I'm gonna do a video where I just yap about all my thoughts on the different pyrites in my collection. I think that would be helpful now that there's so many in the pyrite family, and we like vouch for the pyrite. So I think
I
just
actually don't
showing
have one
people
yet.
which one to get.
I need you need to let
Okay,
me know
sorry,
which one
I
which one to
vouch
get.
for the yeah, I vouch for the pyrite.
No, no, I mean I'm saying that this is the time. I need to watch your video and
Sure,
see like
yeah.
I need to, yeah, I think this is the one for me. And yeah.
Yeah, so you are actually, I think, more of a Vosteed fanboy. And
I am.
up next we have the Shark Bomb Pry bar from Vosteed.
Yeah, so this is one of their earlier models
Yeah,
back
so I got
when
one of
they were still,
these.
yeah. This is when this was a discontinued model for a while, and then they brought it back last month. So it's your standard EDC pry bar slash scraper slash bottle opener tool. It's got a wire clip. Interestingly, it's got a wire clip,
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
the one in the Dragonfly.
Is that gonna focus?
I
Probably
really
not.
like I really like wire clips. I'm a big fan of wire clips just because they don't rip apart your pants. But yeah, and it also
One thing
has like
that's cool though that I don't think is kind of like understood from the product photos of the wire clip is it's like positioned and shaped in such a way that like you can rest your thumb into the wire clip.
oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Can I focus? Maybe not. Maybe because my big old head is in the way. But yeah, I noticed that when I was kind of using it, and then it has like jimping everywhere you'd want it,
Mm.
and
And it's
it's
got the oxygen tank eye of the fish of the
yeah,
shark. Yeah.
and it's not too heavy, but it does feel substantial because you know how like when they're like mini pry bars, it gets so mini that there's no leverage when you pry.
Yeah, I know. Or it's
Yeah, I
like
don't think.
half a third of your palm, so you're not
Yeah,
really there's no coverage. There's no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that that's the case for this. I haven't tested this extensively at all because I'm not like pulling nails or uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't drink or anything like that. So
That actually looks larger now that you showed it in hand than I was expecting. It doesn't really
yeah,
show it in the photos.
I just have like baby hands, I guess. I don't know.
So
But
it would.
yeah,
So I think this would be like if you have been on the fence like me for those Lynch pry bars that got really really popular over the past few years. This
mhm.
could be a more affordable and also more accessible option for
Yeah,
you.
it's only
Yeah,
$39.
yeah. So if you are all about that pry bar life,
Yeah, I think this
there's
would
an
be a fun
option for
one
you.
to pick up. Yeah, I mean, like the finishing looks good to me, as they do in these photos when I'm looking at it in hand. So
And again, I'm really appreciating the wire clip because I'm a big wire clip fan. So that's cool.
is it reversible? I think it's
It
reversible
is,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, sick. Um, so cool. I personally don't use a pry bar at all,
Mhm.
except to open up another can of worms. So let's jump into our Q&A section.
Oh
And
boy.
this is from our subreddit r/everydaycarry. And I realized that this question is kind of similar to the one we did last episode, but that just proves that people are, for some reason, like incredulous about us as people. So Michael K. Becker on r/everydaycarry says, "Be honest, are you actually carrying this stuff?" So they said, "I joined the sub thinking I would see people's daily carry stuff like a watch, wallet, pen, phone, and maybe pocket knife. What I find is almost half of the people here seem to be carrying a gun, extra ammo, 2 knives, a multi-tool, phone, flashlight, and a pen. Do people actually carry this much stuff? Where and how? I don't have enough pocket space for half that stuff. Or is this more like a showcase or of cool stuff I own? This might be because I'm not American and we have different mindsets about what is normal to carry." So this garnered a lot of discussion, actually. 88
Hmm.
comments.
Well, it's just part of life, offense, defense.
Yeah, you know how it is. You know
Yeah,
my
it is.
speed.
You know how it is.
Yeah,
But
lightweight.
okay, yeah, this is a fair assessment, especially to somebody new to the hobby and not knowing the full extent of what is
Yeah, like outside
possible
looking
to
in.
not, and also not knowing the full possibility of what you can stuff in your pockets between the actual useful stuff, the actual stuff you want to show off online, and the literal pocket trash category
Yeah,
where it's just like it's something you like, it's a representation of your hobby, like a challenge coin and stuff like that.
right.
So there is a lot of stuff. I would say take everything you see online with a grain of salt. I honestly think that when people post their stuff online, there is an inherent need to show a well thought out, well represented carry. They may not possibly be carrying everything. They're probably carrying
Yeah,
parts of it with them, but they wanted to
yes.
show that they know what they're talking about. They bought well, and it's stuff that they like that represents them. So take all of that into consideration and then realize that they're carrying just the knife or just the pen or yeah.
Yeah, the reductive answer to this that simplifies things is to the answer or to the question of be honest, are you actually carrying this stuff? The reductive simple answer is no. No, we aren't.
No.
And I'm just going to say that, just to be a little bombastic, but it's like you're saying, people are existing at least in these online communities like as a user profile, right? It's like in Profilicity, they're just trying to showcase a certain, they're trying to convey a certain image about themselves.
Mm.
So I think it's like that kind of identity expression. I'm just yapping now. Sorry. Like I get excited when we get all like philosophical again, especially about like online culture. But people want to showcase a certain side of that, and I think it's just also just the nature of social media. It's just more interesting to look at when there's a lot of things that can be talked about or noticed or perceived, as opposed to what is like truly honest, because people are like desensitized to that now. And do you really hop online and scroll Reddit and TikTok and Instagram for the truth and honesty, or are you trying to escape that in some form of entertainment? I don't know.
Here's a more wholesome take on it. Sometimes from especially from our perspective, sometimes I also want to share with other people and let them know that, oh, there are these other cool things out there. Like I would never have known about the compact e-reader that you have if you hadn't shown it to
True,
me. I wouldn't
true.
have known about the whole fidget toy ecosystem if I hadn't tried searching for it and seeing it in other
Yeah.
people's carries and stuff, I wouldn't have known about enthusiast flashlights. I would have been sticking to like Phoenix and standard O lights for the rest of my life had I not known that there were other stuff out there. So
Yeah. So
there is a
I
positive way to look at it, but it just gets mixed up with the bombastic stuff, like you said.
right. Well, okay. So I think what you're doing is slightly different, right? Because you're this person, Michael K. Becker, they probably have an impression of people and what their items say about the person who's sharing it, right?
Mhm.
They're asking more of like a cultural question. They're saying, I might, be not American, so I don't understand. That's like a cultural question. I think what you're doing
Yeah,
is
true.
you're using the information you're getting, this visual information, to further your product discovery, right? And
Yes, good
it's
point.
like
Good
a
point.
different function of what these EDCs are and can do. So I think that's useful. That's just useful advice for anything you see on the internet. Like you
Mm.
realize that one, it's not probably reflective of real life as much as the person might say it is. Um, and that's kind of sad actually, but that's a different discussion. And yeah, I don't even remember how I was going to finish this thought, but yeah, there's like two sides to that. I think like you can look at these things and not try to make judgments about the person, and you can just use that not selfishly but more like to your own gain, which I guess by definition is being selfish to just like disregard the humanity of somebody else for your own gain.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like you can look at that like that, but I think it is interesting to keep in the cultural aspect of pocket dumps and when people share them. I think that's what
Mm.
makes even our company, like how it got so big. It was like this like look into people's pockets and what that says about society. So yeah,
Mhm.
pretty interesting. What do you think
Yeah. So
about them
just
not being American, by the way? Or you can go
oh
ahead. That's my second question.
yeah, just my end point there is just take everything with a grain of salt and just take
Hmm.
useful stuff for yourself and just disregard the noise. That's just like
Yeah, that can be helpful. I agree.
and just to the point of not being American, that's really funny because here in the Philippines, knives are technically illegal. They are across the board. Unless you use it for work, you are not even allowed to carry a kitchen knife outside. And
Oh, okay.
yet, we are one of the biggest knife cultures on the planet. We
Yeah,
have
that's
knife
him,
makers here.
officer. The guy with the
Yeah.
black hat. Get him. Yeah.
Yeah, so our forums, our Facebook groups all talk about like, is it legal to carry a knife? And the standard answer is no. But
Mm,
just don't be stupid about it. Just carry it for for the task it's intended for, which is a tool. Don't just be an idiot and pull it out threatening people, because
yeah.
that's how they will enact that law. But otherwise, it's generally ignored. Yeah.
Yeah. I will also like add to this. I think the majority of the user base of Reddit is like English speaking US American, right? So
Mhm.
if this is interesting to you like at a cultural level, you can like read some of the comments section here and kind of get an understanding of like what people value or how they think. A lot of people here are talking about like carrying stuff on body and carrying more in a different system like their
That's
backpack,
me.
and
Yeah.
it's to handle myself without asking for help from someone else. And I think that's like
That's a
very
great answer.
telling of a uh, individualist culture society of America versus something more collectivist like East Asia or something. So anyway, you can like dig into the comments there. I don't think it's wise to read the comment section on the podcast. So that's like
Yeah.
the first question. We'll jump into a more lighthearted question by somebody who deleted their account after asking it, apparently.
Oh no.
um, so for the men that wear glasses, that's me. Do you EDC lens wipes or microfiber cloth? Uh, sorry, I just saw the top comment. I EDC a cotton T-shirt. That's pretty good.
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I don't recommend doing that though, because I think
Same.
cotton is a bit abrasive. I will quickly answer that. For me, like I in my pocket, like legit, actually EDC, like not even stage. It's already in my jeans. I have my hank that has microfiber on one side. So I made a video about these hanks and just the concept of carrying hanks. And I think for me, this is my biggest use case, like with my glasses. But I'm like insane in that I'm just like reaching on my desk and I have one, two, three. I have like four
Oh,
microfiber
let's.
towels just because
Are we just gonna pull out the desk some microfiber towels?
I don't know. I just,
I'm looking at by my desk. Um,
yeah.
I have a quick answer for this. Somebody put me on to and gifted me 50 pieces of it kind of looks like the apple polishing cloth, but it's basically small pocketable squares of microfiber.
Mm.
And I have those in every bag. I have those in
Wait.
every sling.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I think I know what you're
And even
talking
though
about.
and just because they're originally I thought they were too small, but then I realized that it's because now you can put them literally everywhere, and you can
Hmm.
have, yeah, a cleaning kit for your phone, for your knife, for your glasses and everything, for your watch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude. I use microfiber like multiple times a day. So either for my glasses, for my watch crystal,
watch.
or
Yeah,
just
for
like
me, watch
grime, yeah, on the watch,
and my
or my
phone.
knife.
Yeah,
My phone, nah, because I feel like the only reason you would really need to wipe down your phone or like phone lens is if you're no, like if I talk on the
my
phone,
hands are
which is
greasy,
never
dude.
because I'm a millennial. I'm just scared of, I don't know, real time conversation with somebody apparently, or
No,
I have my AirPods in, so but I
text
never
first,
like put
guys.
it to my
Text
face.
first.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, but
dude.
I mean, I get
She'll
greasy
text you back.
fingers
Just
at the
yeah,
end of the day. I'm just like, at the end of the day, I'm just cleaning the grime off my phone. But anyway, yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right, and then so for our last segment of the Q&A section, it's not really, it's kind of more of like the pocket dump, but Adam, he's like, a great contributor to our thing. He said it's getting really tough choosing what to carry every day, sad face. And I'm
Mm,
wondering, like, is this a dilemma for other people? How do you choose how to assemble your EDC every day? And
dude,
th- like, you have to know that Adam is like obviously an enthusiast and a collector for this to be something to be sad about. It's just like, damn, all the sick gear. What do I pick today? But I think like, I'm just joking, but like, how do you think about what you're gonna add into your rotation since you also have a bunch of gear?
dude, it's not even with the EDC. I think I mentioned it before in an earlier episode. I was saying I was dreaming of the fact that of like a wardrobe where it's like the same pair of well-worn boots, the same
Right,
pair
right.
of denim jeans, and you have the same shirt in like 12 different colors or something, and you're just set. You don't need to think about it. You don't have to you don't need to choose. It's going to work in 99% of the situations you're going to
Hmm.
find yourself in. And you can say the same to EDC. Like, you find your grail knife, you just use the one knife you have. You find the perfect flashlight that works for you, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about anything else anymore. These are the functional tools that will last you a lifetime, and you're set.
Yeah.
But variety is the spice of life, after all, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Well, I do have a couple more perspectives to add to this. Like, because this is clearly coming from someone who has invested a lot of time and money into EDC. Like, the stuff on the screen is not cheap, right? It's not cheap. I'm just gonna make that like clear. Um, so a couple perspectives to this is like, one, I think if you're like in the collector sort of mentality, you're more on the enthusiast side. Like, sometimes it's just vibes. Like, what if the vibes are right that day? Like, you know what you're picking up. For me, like, and I think this is starting to get closer to like uh, how more people are going to approach this. It's going to be like, what are you doing that day that you know you need, and then build around that. So I knew that we're recording a podcast today, and that one of the questions that I picked is going to be about glasses. So I chose not to wear my contacts today, and I'm wearing my glasses. And then to match my glasses, I'm wearing this particular watch, which is like, it just matches my glasses, and that kind of informs that. And then I kind of build around that. So it's like one piece, and then you go to the next piece and the next piece, which, by the way, I think is good fashion advice for men as well who have trouble figuring out how to put together an outfit. Start with one piece you like and then add something that complements that. But this is not a fashion show. And then the other perspective that I think is actually very important, and I do want to make visible, is that like, for some people, how do you choose what to carry every day? It's like whatever you have and you have to use. Like, not everybody is going to have an EDC rotation, right? Or a collection. Some people are just going to be like, hey, this is what I can afford. This is what I need for work. This is what I need for, my day to day. And that is their kit, and that's it. So um, that's, yeah, that's a
just
reality.
thinking about it now, there's a couple of layers also you can approach this. One is you can be versatile in the term of in the sense of,
Hmm.
yeah, you can use anything in front of you. Like, if you pick up a multi-tool for the day, you can use that. If you pick up
Hmm.
a fixed blade, you can use that. You can, if you pick up a folder or a slip joint or whatever type of knife, you're still good. Like you have in yourself the inherent capability to use anything on the table. The other side of that is you pick along stuff that is within your preference. That way, no matter which you choose, it's still going to be comfortable to you. It's going to be in the
Mm.
size that you like. It's going to be in the blade shape that you like. It's going to be the type of tint of flashlight that you like. So whichever you pick, it's still going to be within the parameters of what
Mm.
you like and
Interesting.
what's comfortable. So one is your the versatility is in you. The other is tailoring everything, even if it's a collection, to what you like. That way, no matter what you pick blind out of a box, it's still gonna be this is the perfect sub 3-inch Magna Cut knife of the day. Good, I'm out
Yeah,
the door. Right?
that's funny. So variety is the spice of life, but just
Variety is the
not
spice.
too much variety. That's what Mikey's saying. Not
Yeah,
too much. Yeah. Okay.
you
Well,
can be
it seems
deliberate about it. Is my point.
sure.
You can be
Right.
deliberate about it. Yeah.
Right. But what
Or you
what
can go
what
crazy.
happens? What happens though if you're like me and you start collecting watches that are like silver or white dial, and then you realize like, oh, you know what?
Gotcha.
I actually like black, wearing all black because my soul feels that way today. It's just so dark, and exactly. See, I'm kind of getting pilled. I think I'm hanging around you too much. I think I talk
I
to you
know.
too much, and I'm just slowly
Imagine the day I
darkening
just
my
flip it.
spirit.
I just flip it, and I'm in a white room
you
in a
go
white
you go
shirt
light
and a white
mode real
hat.
quick. Yeah,
I'm just like Gandalf the White all of a sudden. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be funny. Okay, so hopefully people realize that there's a lot of ways to approach how you choose your setup for
And
the day.
like
Uh huh.
Yaya says there in the comments, not a bad problem to have. If you got
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
nice
yeah.
good stuff, enjoy it.
So I'm curious. Maybe you guys can leave in the comments like what you think about when you're gearing up for the day. Like, do you have a rotation and like you have a system of how to pick out what you need for the day or like season or whatever, or are you like how Mikey was saying, you have this arsenal, this inventory that's been so dialed in, and that's just like the set
That
that you rely
James
on
Bond
every single
wall.
day. Yeah,
Yeah.
just that one set, no variety because you've already figured it out, and it's good quality gear. So,
Yeah.
um, cool. That was a fun discussion. Let's jump
Mhm.
into our pocket dumps. So,
Haven't seen a diagonal angle in a while.
I know maybe I should have just rotated this 90 degrees. Maybe our editor can do that. I don't
Yeah.
know. So this one is from Philip, or their Instagram handle is at EDC underscore ZMNIAC. I will have our editor put that on screen so they can get some followers if they like this type of setup. And they said they are a driver and courier in Poland. So
Mm.
they describe this as their EDC, things that are close to me and helpful every day, both at work and when walking or going to the store. So Philip, yeah, they included a. So this is a Garmin Instinct watch. The
Mhm.
Hank is by Amaranthum Hanks, so that will be tagged as well. The flashlight is the Sofern HS10. We got a pen here. This is the Olight O Pen Mini. Google Pixel 8. Their keys on something that looks like an Orbit key. I don't think that's actually one. And then there
Mm.
is a Spyderco Delica 4 combo blade, and a multi tool is the SOG PowerPoint or Power Pint.
Power
Sorry.
pint.
Yeah, corporate brain kicking in.
Yeah. Yeah, fully bases covered, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. You got your pen, you got your light, you got your knife. Shout out to Spyderco, classic
Mm-hmm.
model from Sal Glasser as well. I wanted to point out the Garmin Phoenix because I was just having the discussion about this because somebody asked me what's the most popular like military type of watch, and
Mm-hmm.
but far and away it's going to be G-Shock, right? But interestingly, second place apparently is a lot of Garmin Phoenixes.
Hmm.
So and my
Okay.
assumption is like it's just smart enough that you have like GPS capability because it's really important for like map making and location and all of that.
Right.
But it's also not smart enough that you have to recharge it every other half day or so and stuff.
Oh yeah, because we both hate having
Yeah,
to recharge our watch. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I see the appeal of like the GPS watches, I guess is the category instead of like a pure smartwatch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like you don't need all the features. Sometimes they get in the way, or you have to make a trade off there. So,
Hmm. Yeah.
definitely a good call
Absolutely.
here. I think one thing that I appreciate about this carry is that um, all the individual items are not big, I guess. They're not like the
Mm.
full size version of those things, right? So you have like a mini pen, you have a smaller, like single cell right angle light,
Hmm.
and you have like a compact folder, and then you don't have like a full sized multi tool, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty cool. This
Yeah.
would
Don't be
fit into
deceived because
our summer carry too, where it's like
yeah.
keep it lightweight and small.
Yeah. So the Delica's like just a step up from the Dragonfly, and this is kind of
Mhm.
like super tiny already. So
Yeah. Oh, I was. This is like, I think this is a tool key. It's like a bottle opener and a screwdriver
yeah,
disguised,
you're right.
yeah, as a
Yeah.
key. Pretty sneaky. Nice. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, I
good
think it's
good call out
solid.
that it's a lot of mini stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think some good ideas here if you're looking to lighten up your load for summer, or you don't just want to deal with all that bulk, but still have all your bases covered. Like you said, their pen, their light, their knife, and their tool. So
Mm.
pretty cool. So
Yeah.
thank you
Thanks for
to
the
Philip.
submission, Philip.
Yep. We'll jump into another one. This is another submission. By the way, these are submitted directly to our website. So we have a form on our website at everydaycarry.com. And then when you go on the uh, navigation menu, there's something that just says submit your EDC. It'll take you to a form that makes it possible for us to share these on the website, social media, and in these podcasts. So um, thank you to the people that are doing that, like S. Spearman, who shared this. They're from Mississippi, and they called this their summer weekend EDC.
Ah, summer
And
again.
yep, and it makes sense because it is quite compact, quite minimal, and they've got an Ashland Capone wallet in natural shell. The Rolex Explorer 2 Polar. So this is the white dial, and this is the modern version. And then again, some
What makes it the
quintessential
modern?
gear.
What makes it the modern version?
Oh, this is like the bigger 42 millimeter case. Because I have the like a neo vintage one from like 1999. It's like much smaller proportions
Oh, I see. I see.
compared to this. Yeah, so this is like the modern, like late 2010s iteration of the Explorer 2. Um, then we got the Benchmade Bug Out and the Streamlight Micro Stream. The
Three
funny thing is
quintessential.
like,
Yeah.
so when I'm assuming Mr. Spearman submitted this, they just tagged it as Benchmade knife and Streamlight pocket flashlight, not the specific model, because it's just like when you think of, I guess now when you think of Benchmade knife and Streamlight pocket flashlight, it's these two.
It's
Like,
exactly those two.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And
So,
still, you still can't go wrong with either of those, to be honest. If you can get
mhm.
them for, well, the Streamline is already quite affordable. If you can get the Benchmade for an affordable price, it's
Mhm.
it's fantastic. And these are also both well worn. You can see the Streamline is already has some of the paint chipping off, and the watch is also clearly
Oh
well
yeah,
worn.
this is like
So,
one of the most tooly Rolex sports watches
mm,
there is, and like, yeah. So Uh, pretty cool. Makes sense for the summer. I'm curious though what our audience thinks about like going from a watch like this, right? The Garmin Instinct as a their field watch versus something like the Rolex Explorer 2.
are
Like
you asking people to come to your defense to justify your
no,
Rolexes?
no, no. Well, okay. So the Explorer 2 that I have is like heirloom, right? It's like from
Yeah.
my late uncle. So it's like I didn't have to wait at an authorized dealer and like play those games. But I'm just curious because I know that our YouTube like audience, at least on the main channel, like a lot of them watch my very once in a while, very occasional watch content. So I'm
Mhm,
curious, like if people are into that, I can sort of lean into that a little bit more. But
mhm.
it's clear that like people who EDC and people who collect watches, there's definitely overlap there.
Yeah, there is
So if
definitely
you
overlap.
are like one of those watch nerds who's also into EDC, please leave a comment so I
And
feel
it's
seen and understood.
I feel like it's I don't know why that is. I feel like it's more logical for people to spend more on the watch versus the other tools. Like we were
Why?
balking at at the $1,350 knife,
Yeah.
but would you balk at a $4,000 Rolex Submariner if you can get it?
Okay. That's another
Like
can of worms. I put my pry bar away, Mikey.
right? Would
Okay.
you? So I ask the audience, would you? Do
Yeah,
you see
yeah.
the? Do you see
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna
getting
answer
at?
this. I'm not touching this.
We'll leave it to you. We'll leave it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, S. Spearman, for the submission here. Hope you have a good summer, and I like your watch. So let's jump into the last one. This is a submission from our Discord by user. Can you help me out, Mikey?
It's Irving IP. Irving IP?
Okay, thank you,
Ir-
Irving.
Irving IP. Yeah.
Yeah, so what do we have here? Ooh,
Shout out to the Discord, by the way. We have a
yes.
ton of activity going on right now, and it's
Yeah, we're
really
over
nice to see all the
3,000
discussion.
members, I think.
Yeah.
And our Facebook, where like Adam Duvall posted, that's like what, 47,000 members or something?
Crazy.
Crazy.
I'm lost in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys can join those too, and we'll link that and remind you at the end of the show. But what do we got here? So we got the NAS Lander 1. This is a Big Eye Design mini bolt action pen. So I actually have a different finish of this in my EDC pouch at the bottom of my handbag, apparently. The Olight
i5T. That's
i5T. Okay.
Yeah, that's the bigger
i5T
one.
is like bigger one for AA, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And then I don't recognize this pry bar.
He says it's from Sid Customs, SIDH
Okay,
Customs,
it's a custom.
from Mexico. So it's one of those
sick.
makers from Instagram that you
Mexico mentioned. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
our producer Gabe is. Yeah. Okay, cool. So what is special about this NAS Lander one here?
Yeah, so Irving's main thing here is he has a 3D printer. And he is now
fun.
using it to customize his EDC from the Nafslander scales
Mhm.
to the scale, I believe, on the the pry bar bead. I'm not sure if the scale is
okay.
actually 3D printed as well. It looks like, because it looks like micarta, but the bead also, and the scales, yeah.
Cool.
And actually, recently, I have been looking into 3D printed stuff because I'm looking at like knife stands. I have an arcade stick stand on my desk over there. And I also had a 3D printed part replaced for my arcade stick. So
nice.
it is a big option to look at. You can take a look at some knife silhouettes. You can look at 3D printed stuff. I've seen balisong trainers that are 3D printed. I've seen karambits that are 3D printed.
Right.
If you want to get trainers for that, it's
that's so interesting.
Yeah,
because I feel like, okay, so I will admit that I don't know too much about 3D printing in general, and like what is it called? Not substrate, but like the material that it's printed with. You know what I mean? Like the filament. Is
filaments.
it called filament?
There you go.
Yeah, like you can have different materials, right? That have like different physical
Strengths,
material properties. Yeah. So like, because when I'm thinking of EDC gear, like I'm so not suspicious of new materials, but like skeptical even maybe, because I'm like when I see Ultim, right, for the first time, I see Ultim as like this like piss yellow clear plastic. I'm just like, dude, how is this like possible for EDC? But it's apparently very like heat resistant and like stable. Yeah, you know. So I'm just curious. Like, I wonder how knife scales would hold up in your EDC gear.
I am coming on board now to the 3D printing because there are now more advanced and tough plastics that when you print with it, it is actually very, very stable. Because I don't know, there's this whole scene now of leverless controllers for fighting games. Right. Have you seen those, like the hitboxes?
Yeah, I built
many. Yeah, many of them are now 3D printed. Like one of the more popular ones from Junk Food Arcade is 3D printed top and bottom, and that's like the hardest part of the controller to have impact on. So I think it's come to the point where it's stable enough for EDC use, I guess is what you're trying to get at.
Okay. I mean, I guess I am still skeptical because, you know, even when I'm thinking of like a hitbox or like leverless arcade stick. Sorry, this is like super nerdy. Like a bunch of people might not understand what we're talking about. But basically, it's like you can think of like a keyboard or something on your lap when you're playing video games. and
Yeah.
like that's not the same kind of hard use as a like a blade basically rattling between these things like in your pocket, and like you're gripping it hard, and it's like
True.
you're
True.
get,
True.
so I'm
Compared to
curious.
something like FRN or glass filled nylon and stuff like that,
Yeah, and
like
then
tried and
we
true.
yeah, and we have options like G10 and titanium, and and aluminum and steel and all that stuff. So that's like more tried and true for that application. So,
He,
but
here's my challenge to you. I wonder
okay,
if there is a 3D printed watch strap, and if that would hold up, or if it will just fall apart and your watch just flies off.
yeah, that
Because it's like multiple links working, like having friction against each other. If it can
uh-huh.
survive something like that, like daily
Okay.
use, right?
Okay, so I will say, like, I am somewhat of a. That's the stupidest way to start that sentence. I'm somewhat of a modder
So,
myself. Yeah. But I just don't have much confidence in that. And
mm,
then two, I think just to get back on topic a little bit with the Navslander one, I think the
yeah,
Navslander one was beloved in the community because it's a platform for customization, right?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's encouraged and it's cool. It's celebrated. So I think that's really cool. If you're into that kind of DIY, tinkery, modder type stuff, this is a good knife to look at. I think Flightanium also is like regarded
Mm,
similarly if you're into like battle songs and whatever.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and they also have some folding knives, I believe. Um,
Hmm.
I think the arcade it's called. But where was I going with this? Oh yeah, to your challenge of like watch components that are 3D printed. Um, Something about just the finished 3D printed product looks so unfinished to me, and like
Yeah, I get
so
it. I get
like
it.
there's like an element of jank that I'm like, I don't know if I want that on my watch, like which is the watch is like can be so highly aesthetic, right? So
Right,
I
right.
guess the design like snob in me is like, I kind of
You
don't
can
want to see like
experiment.
rough edges and stuff. Yeah, yeah, of
What
course.
if you put it on like an AW Casio and then just have it like, you know,
Just like a beater and just see.
just like a beater and literally beat on it just to test to see. And that way, if it does break under
Bro
pressure,
said
then
literally beat on it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Uh, yeah, but I don't
And
know.
it's yeah, if you have like a $15 AW or F91,
Mhm.
you can try and find a 3D printed strap for it and see if it holds up. And then if it flies off, it'll survive it. But yeah, it'll do
Okay.
much.
I remember we interviewed a great designer, Joe Caswell, and he's talking
Mhm.
about don't try to invent solutions to problems that don't exist. So I
Fair.
think I will take that advice,
Yeah.
and I think we should close this topic. But really cool carry. I like that it's minimal. Again, some smaller size stuff, but still like big enough to have ergonomics that are performant, and very cool. Just like this idea of modding your gear, and sort of that added layer of enjoyment in the hobby, I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Yeah.
put it.
So thank you to Irving, Irvin.
Irving Ip.
Yes. Thank you for submitting. So that just about wraps it up for today's episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's discussion. And if you did, please subscribe, especially if you're watching on the new channel and you're not subscribed yet. If you're listening through a podcast service and you really enjoy what we do here, please consider leaving a review and a positive rating, as it really helps the show. And you can follow us on social media for more content daily on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and all of that will be linked below. And if you want to be part of our EDC community, feel free to hop into our Facebook group or Discord server for more real time discussion with other EDCers. Like both of those groups are popping off right now. So it's a lot of fun. You can join us there. And then lastly, if you have any feedback for us or questions you want answered on the show, you can shoot us an email at podcast@everydaycarry.com. Also follow us on Instagram, because every Monday we do ask for like more questions, and you can reply to our story there. And yeah, we also need more submissions. So if you want to have your EDC featured, we're going to have the submission form link in the show notes too. So that would be super helpful and really cool to see what more of you guys are carrying out there. So thank you so much for listening to Carry the Way. I'm Bernard.
I'm Mikey.
And until the next one, peace.